I really do rather like these, just for the look of them, even though I'm not eating them. Hey guys, welcome to Wild Hope Homestead. We are thick in the throes of renovations here. We've got stuff going on in the toilet, the bathroom and the hall, and sorting out some stuff in Scarlett's room too. Yep, so things have been pretty busy. As is usually the case with renovations, there are hold-ups, either for waiting for things to dry or set, or unexpected challenges that come up. Things just always take longer than you think, so while we're having to wait for some things, we're trying to get started on other things. And just trying to keep momentum going and keep the ball rolling. Steve's been really motivated to help out with the renovations and DIY stuff lately, so that's been really good, really helpful, and he's been helping with like meals and the kids and stuff as well, so we're making good progress. And while it's challenging and busy and tiring, it's really nice to have stuff getting done that has been waiting for a while, or that I've always wanted to do and we just hadn't managed to get the time to do yet, so it's going to be good when we get some of these things finished. So things were going really well in the hall with the removal of the wallpaper, until we started getting to some interesting things. So the newer wallpaper that was on here, on some of the wall we figured out that they had left the underlayer of the previous wallpaper on there, which has been particularly tricky around some of the door frames, trying to get the really old wallpaper off. Actually, this part I think had the whole layer of old wallpaper underneath. I think at this particular wall it was just, everything was, I don't know, it was hard. So we're going to have to do some sanding and just a bit more work on trying to deal with that. And then we got to the part of the hall where apparently they got tired of trying to get the older layer of wallpaper off, and in the process of trying to make things look better and getting good progress, it feels like we've suddenly gone backwards, because now we're temporarily stuck with this retro flower wallpaper. Yeah, it looks like they'd gotten to this point and then had enough of trying to remove the difficult older wallpaper. It looks like they've just sanded the edges and then put their newer layer on. So this is what we were left with when we took the wallpaper off, thinking it would be the same as the rest of the hall, but no. It feels like we're going back in a time warp. It kind of feels like one of those creepy hallways from some crime show or something. Like, you know, I don't know. I'm going to get some things harvested in the garden before it gets any hotter, because it's pretty hot these days, late summer here. Things are starting to look a little bit wild in here, which is good, I think, mostly. It's starting to get into the jungly phase. The beans are doing very well, forming a nice wall. Whoops, the sorrel's seeding, that's not supposed to be there. I've got lettuces going to seed here, which is what I want. Reaching the seed stage, so I'm going to sprinkle some of these around and I'll maybe save some There are tomatoes in behind them, which aren't quite ripe yet. These ones are golden grape. We're still behind on the tomatoes, but we have been getting some, so that's good. Perpetual beets. Spinach beets are doing their thing. Self-populating. We are getting some of these yellow cherry tomatoes over here. I think that looks like broad ripple yellow currant, but I did not plant that one. That's self-sowed. The sunflower's coming to an end. This multi-headed one, it's got a few smaller ones left on there. I can't remember when we were last in here because we've been really busy with house renovation things. So I can't remember what I've showed, but this is the carrot bed which I got all nicely weeded and mulched a while back. We've still got carrots going in there, so that's a lot more under control. And this one here, which was kind of the failed carrot bed, I planted my okra, which has been eaten and stunted. It's not doing very well. It's had some aphids, or just been eaten by probably slugs and snails. So I need to water those and fertilise them to try and help them. I don't know if any of the others survived, unfortunately. The cucumbers are definitely behind where they usually would be, but we are getting a good supply now of gherkins and what are supposed to be the slicing cucumbers, which are looking a little bit gherkinish, but I think we may have had some cross-pollination. I can't remember which seeds I used. Oops, that's a rather big gherkin there, which needs to be picked. That can come inside. I do love this bean wool though, and the butternuts are doing very well now as well. Since we had some downpours, they've just absolutely taken off. Look at those. Oh, that one's getting a bit stuck on the other one. You move over there, dude. Oh, there's one dangling down here which is in danger of the line trimmer. Now these ones are the same seeds I sowed last year that turned out to be crossed with Chuck's winter squash, because I quite liked them. They were handy because they didn't grow as big as Chuck's winter, but they produced bigger fruit. So I'm assuming these are going to be something similar. Bigger than butternuts, but with better storage life like Chuck's winter, but not quite so rampant. These tomatoes are holding on reasonably well. The plants start to struggle when it gets really hot. And we're way behind in production where we normally are, but at least we're getting something now, so that helps. And my youngest batch of sunflowers are doing well. The bamboo stake unfortunately rotted and broke, so we kind of just leaned that over and tied it onto the fence. These tomatoes are doing the best. Oh, that one up there, that's the one from the stake, which is a yellow cherry tomato. It probably looks most like broad ripple yellow currant. I reckon is going to seed because it's just so hot. these two butternuts down here are doing doing the least well, because I think they weren't that great to start with, but this bed here gets the brunt of the sun. So what I've noticed is that things always tend to struggle in here because there's so much heat in here in summer, and even though it's joined onto the rest of the long bed, things down there with just a little bit more shade and not getting the full force of the sun for most of the day, things do way better down there. I think it's partly just heaps of sun and partly the sun dries things out and probably makes nutrients less available down here. So even like the parsley here, you can see the size of this one compared to the one over there is bigger and greener with a bit more shade. The arch trellis bed is doing beautifully with the beans now. I've been harvesting green beans, which is nice. I missed a few early ones which I've left for seed. Those are the Blue Lake runner beans here. And then we've got a few Salugia plants down there and more Salugias here, which we're using as dried beans. So we're waiting for those pods to dry out. And more tomatoes, cherry tomatoes in there. The Chuck's winter squash, which got a very late start. I need to head those over in this direction. And some more bush beans. Bush beans, some of them are getting close to drying out, not quite yet. I just love these beans when they're at their peak. Lush green. These are our beautiful purple peas. I'm really enjoying these, not eating them because I don't like them, but the kids, Scarlett in particular, the kids are really enjoying them, and I'm enjoying the look of them. They're very pretty. And the flowers, I'm not sure if there are many more flowers left on them. Some of the flowers were purple, and there's one up there. Some of the flowers are purple and some are pink. Two-toned purple or two-toned pink. Oh no, look at this. Look at this naughty, naughty caterpillar. Time to go meet the chickens. He wants the caterpillar. Veggies. Ooh. Sorry, just one. Getting hot. Some of these purple peas have gotten a little bit fat before we reached them, so that's okay because I will definitely need some for seed, so I'm going to let the big, fattest, biggest, oldest ones dry out and save the seeds. I really do rather like these just for the look of them, even though I'm not eating them. The only trouble is they're not the best snack for small children because Scarlett can't really reach most of them since they're climbing peas, but that's alright. We're just keeping a stash in the fridge or giving them to her when we're out here, so I'm quite glad that I grew these. They're fun. The front plot has had zero attention since we were last working down there because we've been so busy with the renovation stuff. But we have harvested a few tomatoes and I'll have to get back to these weeds at some point. But things are chugging along. Kumara are slowly growing, better since we've had some downpours. We've got kale and, kale and broccoli or cauliflower seedlings popping up all along the edge, both edges, which is quite funny. I guess that's the part that didn't get disturbed when I smoothed everything out. Chuck's winter squash down the end had a slow start, but they're doing something now. We harvested all the carrots down here, except for one or two there. The potatoes in here, it's getting hard to see them amongst the weeds. Potatoes in here and over here need to get harvested, so that's on the to-do list. The last of the broccolis have gone to seed, and then the tomatoes, these ones have been struggling a bit with the heat and the wind lately. Steve's just come off 2 weeks of holiday. Well, leave. Renovation holiday. He's back at work. Been back at work this week, so we've been doing a lot. We've been painting doors. We've been doing stuff in the bathroom. I've finished painting the toilet and we're waiting for the plumber to come and install our new toilet, so there's been a lot going on. It's been full on. There's also been wallpaper coming off in the wall. But it's, yeah. Anyone who's done renovations knows there are certain things where, like the bathroom and toilet, where when you start them you have to keep going because, especially for us, we only have one bathroom and one toilet in our house. And people need to use those. So we've been having to use the laundry sink and the kitchen sink to do things, and working tasks in and around people needing to use the facilities, and just having to keep going, keep rolling the ball to get stuff done. So we're almost there with those things, but it has been pretty full on. So we're both quite tired, and other things are getting behind around here. Obviously, I have not spent much time in the garden at all, but this is a good time of year to do the renovations, and especially while Steve was around. He's been really motivated to help out with stuff, so if he's on the train, then I'm jumping on the train with him to get stuff done, because it does need to be done. So some of the garden things have fallen to the wayside, but we can only do what we've got the time for, and looking after our family and spending time with everyone as well.